My name is Tina B. I am the poet that wrote the custom poem for Jakari and Danielle for their wedding day. And I wanted to spend some time talking with you all about the details of how we went from concept to creation and how the poem was written and a little bit of the process with that. And so to start off, I had a friend of mine ask me, Tina, how customized are these pieces? How in-depth of an interview do you have with the couple before you can begin writing? Do you just kind of know their names and you elaborate and make up some poetic, poem, or do you actually put truth in it and put some of their responses? And so the answer is I do spend some time with each, the bride and the groom, to learn more about the relationship in a safe space, but to learn more about how they met, any nicknames they may have, how long they've been dating. The whole point of the interview for me is to really connect as best I can with my clients so that I can write from their perspective. This is not just a poem just from Tina's head. This is your custom poem for your day, for your wedding. And I want to be accurate as possible with making a poem that reflects your relationship. I'll let you in on a little secret. Jakari said Danielle actually isn't the best singer. Now Danielle knows this, it's actually kind of a joke. But in the poem I wrote, as off-key as they might be, let her love note melodies be bricks that pave your memory lane towards the reasons why you love her anyway. Walk the tune of her voice until you reach the perfume of her charisma. Man, Danielle, I've got so much admiration for her. After talking with her, I learned that she was taking care of her mom and sister a lot and never complained and wasn't used to getting a lot of help. And so in walks Jakari in her life and offers so much help, offers so much support for her. So again, these are the kinds of interview questions that I'm having with you, and these are the kind of answers that I'm looking for you to give me so that I can understand. I can understand the history of the relationship, I can understand the dynamics of what you're going through, and I can write something that truly reflects, those kinds of things. They wanted me to perform this poem while they were pouring salt into a vase. And I don't know if for anyone out there who doesn't know, this Jewish tradition, it's 2 vases of salt and you pour it into one. And that symbolizes one life. It sometimes replaces the unity candle that people do sometimes in a wedding. And so I wanted to make frequent mention of salt in this poem. And so I say in the poem, every grain within it is identical. Every yoke is equal. And matrimony is equivocal to collectively being the bride of Christ. I don't know, I just kind of enjoy doing things like that and play on words and using a metaphor of salt to still try to create this overarching metaphor of the symbolism of salt and what that means to having one life. The wedding theme was old Hollywood glamour, and with each of these Heart Speaks poems, each of these custom poems, the bride and groom received 2 keepsake items. The first one is a CD, so I would go into a studio and professionally record the poem with the music, get that pressed on a CD, and then they have the CD. And then the second one is a poster, and the poem is written on a poster, and there's graphic elements to it. And so I was able to use old Hollywood glamour stuff, an old car, the word Hollywood, and so putting those things as graphic elements in the poster, and they were able to get that. And that just comes standard when you book Heart Speaks, when you book custom poetry to come out. Jakari is a preacher, he's a minister. As a believer, I was definitely excited to know that I had so much permission to really incorporate a lot of biblical things. I considered Danielle to be a virtuous woman and to have hands like Ruth. And again, the Ruth symbolism or metaphor and analogy was to tap into what I was saying before with Danielle taking care of her mother and taking care of her sister and not complaining. See, Ruth in the Bible, she was gleaning in fields, and so there's a research component in my writing. What does gleaning mean? And that means to pretty much pick up wheat after the harvest has been collected. So it's whatever leftover wheat that you have. It is not a glamorous job. It is not something that is praised. And so from my understanding with Danielle and her taking care of her mom and sister, I mean, she knew it was something that she had to do. She had no regret. You know, this is her mom and her sister. She loved them. But at the same time, this was very laborious. This was something that, you know, she had been doing for some time. And I couldn't help but think of Ruth. Like, man, like, to work and not complain. That's Danielle. And then, of course, you know, being a virtuous woman. The Bible says a good wife is the crown of her husband. So all those things were incorporated in the poem. And, you know, so God bless Danielle and Jakari out there if you're still listening and watching this video. Another question was, how long are the poems? And they typically are about 3 minutes. I spend time trying to speak slowly though. So the poems in written format aren't that long because I want the poem to breathe. I want to be able to perform and you can get a full feel of it. We can enjoy that poem. I don't want to flood it with quick talking and lose the audience and that kind of thing. And so there's the entire experience of Heart Speaks is really catered to and thoughtful of the event and the bride and the groom and the wedding and what it all means and how it all comes together. So if you want more, please visit the website. It is www.heartspeakspoetry.com.